Many of us experience range anxiety, that embarrassing feeling of coming up short after a long journey. Ask your doctor what you can do to treat your range anxiety. They'll probably tell you it's not a medical condition. It's simply an electric car owner's concern that they're going to run out of juice on the highway. A recent study by Cox Automotive found that 32% of people who want to buy an electric car worry about a lack of charging stations. Now that number is down from 40% from just 2 years ago, but consumers still worry that an EV might sputter out on I-75, sending the driver down the highway to see if the service station can fill up a gas can with positive ions. Car companies are aware of these concerns, and several are now banding together to create a new EV fast charging network to pepper the US and Canada with power. 7 rivals, BMW, GM, Honda, Hyundai, Kia, Mercedes, and Stellantis, which owns Fiat and Chrysler, announced plans to build a network of at least 30,000 fast chargers. This joint venture claims the chargers will be located in convenient locations, offering canopies wherever possible, along with amenities like food service and retail. The first charging stations are set to be built in metro areas, along major highways, and near connecting corridors and vacation routes. These fast chargers are the type that can fill an EV battery to around 80% in about half an hour. And we're gonna need them. As part of the Biden administration's bipartisan infrastructure law, $7.5 billion was dedicated solely to EV charging. The president has also set a goal of having half of all new car sales be electric by 2030, 7 short years from now. As of this month, the Department of Energy claims there are currently 32,000 publicly available fast chargers in the USA. This venture to add 30,000 new chargers would double the total to around 60,000, but that's still a fraction of what we may need to serve an anticipated 30 to 42 million plug-in cars by 2030. By then, the Department of Energy says the country will need over 180,000 charging stations. These new charging stations will also be able to charge vehicles made by other manufacturers, not just the 7 behind this joint venture. Some electric cars have different kinds of charging plugs, kind of like how your iPhone can't be plugged into a USB-C cable without a finicky adapter. But there's good news on the dongle front too. Back in November, Tesla opened up the design of its EV charging connector for other manufacturers to freely adopt. They renamed their Tesla plug-in socket to the North American Charging Standard, NACS, and it competes with designs used by other manufacturers, like the CCS and the CHAdeMO, which sounds more like a bro-to-bro payment system. Since then, Ford, GM, Mercedes, Nissan, and Volvo have announced plans to adopt the NACS plug, and Hyundai, Stellantis, and Volkswagen are in talks to bring it to their future cars as well. I'm sure you're aware that charging cable standards is not the most exciting topic in the world, but experts say that having one single type of EV charging plug will help all manufacturers and consumers alike. And even though these new charging stations will be able to accommodate multiple plug options, a single future standard will make things even simpler for everyone. Plus, that means almost any future car could hang out at Elon Musk's upcoming Retro 50s style Tesla drive-in theater charging station. He first pitched this back in 2018 on what was then called Twitter, stating he was going to put an old school drive-in, roller skates, and rock restaurant at an LA supercharging station. And at Tesla Investor Day back in March, some mock-ups of the place were shown off in a rendering of what looks like a high-tech In-N-Out burger. The company filed an application for this joint with the LA Department of City Planning under the name of Tesla Supercharger Diner and Drive-In. But by the time this thing is built, who knows? We'll probably be calling it X.